that's enough of Matias, right? Because we're already at almost damn near an hour. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Take the time to subscribe. Super chat. We here, the untouchable True School Sports Empire. Listen, man. Floyd Schofield made a lot of noise this weekend. He's obviously a guy that's making a lot of noise. I think he's probably one of the most exciting lightweights in the world today. Very big for the weight class. I had a chance to interview Lydell Rhodes, who fought him his last fight. Lydell Rhodes fought on the Don King card this week. And he said one thing about Floyd Schofield is the size of him, the size of his calves, his back. He's a big guy for the weight class, very explosive, and he got a stoppage victory. And Regis Prograis, we know Regis Prograis' name is bubbling right now, but Regis Prograis gave him the cosign. He said, "This little dude, Floyd Schofield, is good. He might be the best prospect out right now." Wow. That's a lot. That's been a lot. What do you think, possible?
I like
about that. What do you think about that statement? And what do you think overall about Floyd Schofield's performance and just where he's going with his career?
I really like. I was watching a lot of his fights this past week, and boy, for me especially, my memory. But you have to appreciate what this guy's doing, how he's doing it. I mean, that interview that time we had with his dad, and they were a little crazy. But let me tell you something. This guy's no joke. This guy's got power. So power, speed. He'll get you on the ropes. He'll get you on the corners. He'll get you anywhere. He's coming to put a new face in you, to put a hole through a wall. And I like him. I like his confidence. And now I'm actually going to say that from this last fight and the last couple he's had, you can see him blooming to being that person that he was supposed to be. When he first time I seen, he really didn't impress me a lot. His dad was talking this and that, but now when I see him and what I've seen in his fights, that guy is growing into his own. He's going to be a problem in his weight class, and that's just me saying it. It's fast, quick, power, you name it, he's got it.
Absolutely. Yeah, a lot of you guys correct me saying, BT, a lot of Trinidad wasn't with Don King, and you're right, or wasn't with Bob Arum. You're right. He wasn't with Bob Arum. He was with Don King, so you're right about that. But many of his biggest fights were on what? Top rank. So that's my point.
Yeah,
that's my point. Yeah, maybe they didn't build him up, but some of the biggest parts of his career involved Bob Arum. Big hope. What's the biggest fight Trinidad was ever in? Trinidad versus who? De La Hoya. Who's De La Hoya promoted by? Mm-hmm. Bob Arum. All right, case closed. No, but I get what you guys are saying, but this ain't about Matias anymore.
No,
we done moved on from Matias. Thank you for the correction. I was wrong. You guys are right. As far as Floyd Schofield, Jake Paul, he's got a fighter. He's got a fighter. By the way, I've never talked about this fighter on videos. This might be my first time talking about him on video. It's kind of crazy because I literally went to his card in Orlando 3 days after I got home from Japan to South Florida, which is, Jake Paul's got Ashton Sylve. Ashton Sylve. I don't know how to say his name. You guys can tell me how to pronounce his name. But H2O, the black kid that fights with Jake Paul. Same weight class, good fighter, big amateur background. It's the guy that Jake Paul really has a real backing behind. He said this after the fight with Floyd. He said, "Oscar, let's set up H2O versus Floyd for 2024, and MVP's top prospect versus Golden Boy's top prospect." Wow. And now, you know what? I like that.
Yeah,
we can do it in Los Angeles, the home of H2O and Golden Boy. So as far as that fight's concerned,
they're both to win.
I like that fight. Ashton Sylve versus Floyd Schofield, good fight. And I was there when Ashton Sylve fought back in May. It was cool. I didn't see anything like out of this world. I think he's a good boxer. He got good speed, good athleticism, things like that. But not the biggest puncher. Mm-hmm. I really didn't see anything crazy with him. But he is a good fighter. He is undefeated. They are on the same level. And look, I know Floyd can call out Keyshawn Davis and Shakur and all these guys to the cows come home. He's not gonna get them fights. Yeah, so we can't be unrealistic, right? So if you got a guy from one of the top promotional companies in boxing with a lot of influence in boxing right now, and Jake Paul, who's got a fighter who's undefeated, who's highly touted amateur, just like he was, match him up. Let's start finding out who's who. Because I'll tell you this: if Floyd Schofield is as good as Oscar De La Hoya thinks he is, he should be beating H2O. I watched H2O fight. If they fight, I would pick Floyd to beat H2O. Mm-hmm. H2O, I think, will have maybe a couple rounds early, maybe boxing him, but the minute he get hit by Floyd Schofield, he's gonna have to sit there and fight. And I don't know if he's built to sit there and fight. I don't know if many lightweights are built to sit there and fight with Floyd Schofield because he's big. I think if he was one of these guys that was at 40, he'd be punching through things at 40. He's a big kid for the weight. You know, Ashton's good. Ashton's all right, but like I don't really see like when I seen him fight, I was there, and I just couldn't see what the hooting and hollering was about. But again, that's Jake Paul's guy. If Jake Paul and the fine folks at MVP Promotions, who by the way, they've done some good things for boxing, if they feel confident enough to put Floyd Schofield in there with or Ashton Sylve with Floyd Schofield, then I said make it happen. I'm a big proponent in boxing of young fighters with O's who are highly touted fighting each other. You want to know why? Because then I don't gotta wait for them to be 17-0, 16-0 to be fighting each other.
I think Jake Paul is one of the easiest promoters to make fights. He's willing to do what's better for the boxing and for his pocket. So why not? You know what I mean? That's great.
Yeah. My man Next Gen, he wants to know is his 90% is H2O's record padded? I don't know what's resume like that. I'm always going off the one time I seen him fight, like which was back in May. I didn't really see no crazy power. So based on what I saw, I'll have to say yeah. I have to say yeah. He has to be padded because I was sitting maybe like 15 to 20 feet from the ring, and I heard them punches, and I saw it, and I've been around boxing long enough to know I'm not saying he's feather fisted because he's not that, but I don't think he has like world class power. Maybe he has respectable power to keep guys off him, but not like world class power. Floyd has world class power and world class athleticism, and the thing about Floyd Schofield is he's able to throw punches from weird angles and shift. Like there's some things he does really, really well, and he's actually someone that I should be talking about more because these guys like Shakur and Keyshawn and whatnot, like he's one of the only, I would say him and Abdullah Mason are the two 135-pound fighters that when I actually watch them fight, I get excited because I know there's a very little small percentage chance that I'm going to get a boring fight or a fight where they're fighting someone that's like 7 levels below them and they just go the distance. Like that's one thing that pisses me off. Like you don't got to get knockouts all the time, but I feel like if you're 7 levels better than someone like some of these fights, like when Shakur was multiple levels better than Jeremiah Nakatilia, and he barely got touched and circled the ring for 12 rounds. I don't want to see that shit. Now, if it's someone that's kind of on your level, like a championship caliber fighter, then okay, I get all that. But I like that fight a lot. I think that would actually be the fight I want to see the most. And if Jake Paul's calling for it, then I say.
I like Jake Paul. That's why I think he's one of the easiest promoters to make fights with. So why not? Let's get it on. Next
Gen says, well, hold up now, BT. We know Floyd's record is padded, and he fights really small guys. I don't know if his power is really world class at 135. At 135, his power. Okay, maybe it's not quite world class, but it's better. All I'm saying is if he fights Ashton Sylve and they get into an exchange, Floyd Schofield is not losing exchanges to H2O. That's really what I'm trying to say.
On your own opinion,
like in my opinion, from what I've seen from both of them fighting, obviously H2O can still grow. He can still mature, and I would expect that to happen in the next year or so. But based on what I've seen, I would have to say if they were to get into an exchange, H2O and Kid Austin, I would lean towards Floyd. I just think he's a better fighter. That's all. But listen, I'm not unlike a lot of Jerron Ennis and Shakur Stevenson fans and Canelo fans. I'm not one of these people that says, you know what, nah. Floyd beat them all. Floyd beat them all. He too dangerous. Now he don't need to fight him. It's a waste of time. I'm not like that. See, I'm a boxing fan. I actually want to see the fight. So if I'm wrong, cool. If I'm right, cool. But I would like to see the fight.
Right, because my son tells me to say his dad, stop.
I tell him the same thing.
I'm like, oh, it's better. He said, no. How many fights you watch, and because you didn't watch, you didn't know the outcome from a lower level guy. So you really don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, we know who the favorite is, but we don't know. That's why we got to see the fights.
That's why I got to see the fights. So that's what it is. And then see, is the last thing Schofield? Yeah. So that last thing concerning Kid Austin, right now. Obviously, the H2O fight, I think, on paper is the most attractive fight for me as a fan. But they got a little in-house fight. Jojo, Diaz, and Floyd is a fight that's been discussed, and they were going back and forth on Twitter. Jojo said, look, man, y'all quit playing with me like I ain't a 2012 Olympian, world champion. This boxing is easy for me. I've been doing it for years. 2024, I'm going to show the world I'm one of the best. See you soon, Kid Austin.
How old is he? Diaz? I think he's a little old now. He's getting older. I mean, A lot older than Kid Austin, I'll tell you that.
No, he's still a good.
Yeah,
he's still a good fighter. I mean,
he can bring it in.
Recently, I mean, I know within the last year or so, he beat Jerry Perez. Jerry Perez is a good fighter. Jerry Perez beat some good guys. Jerry Perez, he beat my friend Eric Francis Jr. So Jojo beat him when a lot of people didn't think that he was going to beat Jerry Perez. So he's still a good fighter. Is he still like a world class top shelf fighter? I really don't think he is. But this would be a good fight for Floyd because Jojo Diaz is a recognized name, as he eloquently stated, former Olympian, champion. Floyd responded by saying, "You are one of the best. That's why I'm asking to share the ring with you. You are an amazing durable boxer. No disrespect to you. I'm just supporting my family." And then in another tweet, Jojo Diaz said, "Shut your ass up, Floyd. I'm ready to make it happen. You getting spoon-fed. Golden Boy, RG, Oscar, let's make it happen in January." And then Floyd said, "Yeah, let's make it happen. I will stop you in 4 rounds." Woo! So Pops and to the chat, to the fine folks watching, what do y'all make of Floyd Schofield versus Jojo Diaz? What y'all think?
I'm gonna say, like I just told you a few minutes ago, Jojo Diaz has had his time. He fought a lot. A good competitive fight, but to me, the time belongs to Floyd Schofield over Jojo. And no respect to him, he's had a lot of fights, good resumes, but I don't think that's going to be enough to beat Floyd Schofield.
So yeah, look,
timing is everything.
Look, man, I think it's time for Floyd to get some sort of stuff. So whether it's HTO, Ashton, or Jojo Diaz, I'm all for it, man. Like, obviously, I think Floyd still has some development to be had. But listen,
and if it comes to the question where you said that Schofield is not fighting at the top levels, well, then we fight one of these guys and knock some shit out. What are you gonna say then?
Yeah. My man Next Gen says he would like Linares in Floyd Schofield if Linares. Yeah, that would have been cool. But I'm to the point where it's like I like Linares and he's retired. He's retired now, but like he's been knocked out so many times. Like I'm not disrespecting him. I think he's an amazing boxer. I really respect the toughness he showed to take knockout losses and become champion multiple times over. Not a lot of guys can have the career he had. A lot of fighters would love to have Floyd Linares' career, but he probably has the worst chin in the last 20 years. Worse than Amir Khan. Worse.
Wow.
Worse. Like, yeah. Because he's been knocked out in every weight class. He's been knocked out as the favorite. He's been knocked out as the underdog.
I mean, like I said,
to me, that fight, I mean, he probably would have got some decent experience, but I wouldn't have. As a fan, I wouldn't have liked that.
And after the last fight from Linares, I think it's time for your time is up. Time is up.
Yeah.
Don't change your health.
So big things ahead for the man Floyd Schofield. But shout out to everyone here. Make sure you smash that like button. We still got like an hour to go. About an hour to go here on True School. So still some things to run through. So get your thoughts down below. Smash the like button. Subscribe. My man, super chat. My man Brandon says he thinks Floyd is better than Ashton. Yeah, I absolutely. Look, I keep forgetting, and I didn't realize till my man Next Gen pointed it out to me that Ashton is only 19 years old. So I gotta take that into account. Some guys, they do develop later on. They mature. They get better. Right. They punch harder. So who he was when I saw him in May might not be him. Might not be who I see in the middle of next year. Right. I've seen it happen so many times. I watch a fighter 1 year, trash, not that good, subpar. Then they go through a little bit of physical maturation, get some good sparring, start being a more professional outside the ring, and
what weight class get better. Castro fight?
Marc Castro's a 35-pounder. Same weight class.
That guy showed me how he matured from the last fight scene. I said, "Oh my God!" Before I thought.
What about this? We'll throw this one out there before we move on to, Michael Collin and Jordan Gill and the British card. I know David Esther's been talking about Sam Noakes, which I didn't watch Sam Noakes, so he can educate me on Sam Noakes. But as far as Floyd Schofield and Marc Castro, what about that fight?
But you were talking about maturity, and boy, did we see a bit. I've seen a big maturity in Marc Castro in his last fight. I'm like, oh my God, where did this come from? This guy, to me, never showed me this. You could tell his skills got a lot better, and that'd be a good fight. I mean, I never seen that from Castro, but that'd be whoever he fights. I think he's improved a lot. And like you say, boxers have a time when they mature, and like the gentleman or scriber said that one of the guys is 19 years old, so we gotta give him some time to develop. So I totally agree with that. Yeah,
it really all depends. It really all depends on, because I know Marc Castro's manager is Keith Connolly, who's one of the best managers in boxing. He manages Edgar Berlanga. He manages Philip Hergovich now. And now he's also Marc Castro's. He's been Marc Castro's manager. I think Marc Castro versus Floyd Schofield will be a really good fight. I think Marc Castro has that high guard style, likes to fight in a lot of angles. Floyd kind of fights that way too. He's physically strong too. That could be a real explosive fight.
They both have come to the level where they're actually maturing as fighters.
I could be wrong though. Marc Castro might not be at 30. He might be a 30-pounder.
You think so?
He might be a 30-pounder. I could be wrong about that. He might actually be a 30-pounder. I feel like he might be a 30-pounder. Let me fact check myself.
He's big for 130, man.
Is he a 30-pounder?
Because I'll tell you right now, I just seen the big maturity from last fight. So where did this come from this guy? And like Brendan says, you have, and like the subscribers say, you have to let them mature, let them grow up, and see what they are, and let them grow up to who they want to be at. And you can't really be hard on them until you see how they develop. And I think Marc Castro, from what I've seen him in the last fight, how he developed, I think it's great. Floyd, from the last time I seen him fight, a couple fights before that.
So Marc Castro is in fact a 30-pounder, but funny enough, I knew I wasn't tripping because he's a 30-pounder, but he's fought at lightweight before early in his career. But funny enough, his last fight in April was against the same guy that Floyd Schofield just stopped this weekend.
Wow!
So they have a common opponent. He stopped Ricardo Lopez Torres, and I believe Floyd stopped Ricardo Lopez Torres as well. So look, they got a common opponent.
Yeah,
I think the styles are meshed well. That's probably not realistic, but I would like that fight. I know I know Keith Conley's gonna want to go to 130. Okay, but I'm not speaking as a man. I'm not speaking as BT the box manager because I'm gonna be the box manager. But BT the boxing fan would like to see Marc Castro versus Floyd Schofield. That's a good fight, and I think in Texas that fight does big business.
Does it?
Floyd is from Austin, Texas.
Oh yeah,
and Marc Castro is Mexican, and he's fought in Texas before. So I think that fight could do good numbers. I think that fight could, you don't put it at a big venue, but you can find a smaller venue, put it somewhere with two.
It's gonna sell.
1,000, 2,000 seats. It'll sell well. I think it would sell well. So just throwing it out there.
The location stuff for sure.
Just throwing it out there. So yeah, there you have it there. But listen, switching gears. Let me take some time to acknowledge some people. Man, shout out to my guy Robert Sanchez out there in Austin, Texas. Much love.
Yeah,
my guy out there in Austin. He says, fuck it. Put De Los Santos versus Kid Austin. I like that fight.
Okay.
Edwin, listen, I think Edwin might be stepping a half too much right now, but you know what? Listen, man. Sometimes in boxing, you got to sink or swim.
That's it.
And sometimes when you put him the pressure, a pressure can make a diamond. I think if Kid Austin was able to fight like a De Los Santos, and let's say he beat the brakes off De Los Santos, which would be very difficult because, listen, I know the fight with Shakur was very boring, wasn't exciting, but Edwin De Los Santos is hard guy to beat. He can box, southpaw, explosive. And don't get it twisted. He was out boxing Shakur in some of them rounds. So anybody who can box round for round with Shakur Stevenson, can punch, he's a southpaw, that's a guy to be taken very seriously. So
good idea.
I would agree with you. It's a good idea.
Thank you,
man. Hopefully some of these promoters and these managers listen to you.